The following episode was rewritten to address recent events. And by recent events, I mean The End of All Engines Go, the 1983 pilot, and the 80th anniversary.
Prologue, he took quite a blow to the head, and the rest of his body.
Do you think he'll make it?
After you two left for patrol, Moosh 13 and her father, Malachi 51, upgraded me into what they call the Nebula line of automatons, based on the Nebula race from the Skyset multiverse, but also based on the Makuta species from Bionicle. We have the power to heal other beings and even resurrect the dead. Unlike the Nebulas from Skyset, Grelor won't turn into one. Hopefully I'll be able to nurse him back to health. It's a miracle you survived since you are a human.
If it fails, who's gonna host the next episode?
I'm not sure, but I've got to do this.
You're alive!
Did you really think I was gone forever?
Just glad you're still alive to begin with.
Great. Now, about that episode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the SIBC Show. On today's episode, we will be talking about the decline of Thomas the Tank Engine, one of my favourite shows growing up. I already talked about my history with the franchise all the way back in episode 1 of the SIBC Show. Alongside Lego, Pixar and various others, Thomas the Tank Engine was one of my favourite shows growing up, mainly seasons 5, 6 and 8, with parts of seasons 7 and 9. It was one of the most influential parts of my childhood. I guess you could say it was my childhood. I had quit the official TV series at season 23 because BWBA was terrible. So, let's get to the episode, shall we? In 2012, Mattel bought the Thomas franchise and revamped the crew with new writers, animators, and a narrator.
Follow the damn train, CJ!
With more classic series style narratives, with one of the writers being Andrew Brenner, which is why seasons 17 to 21 of the series are considered the best of the CGI series, dubbed the Renaissance era of the show, sometimes simply called the Brenner era. After the first CGI era of Thomas, the Miller era, also the Nitrogen era, and to an extent, seasons 10 and 12 of the Hit era didn't do well with longtime fans.
His firebox was on fire. Get out!
It was in season 17 in 2013 that the show became good again, and this era of the show reached its peak in 2016 with season 20. But as the Renaissance era continued, the show got better, but the toys got worse, and the show wasn't accessible in American television. It wasn't getting much traction on PBS. And from what I remember, it only aired once a week on ABC Kids. But my memory of that is a little hazy, so I could be wrong. Also, I did research on it, but that didn't help. If anything, it helped more for the American perspective. Even though the episodes aired on TV networks across the world, in America, actually being able to watch an episode was rare due to the episodes airing right as the kids were waking up at 6 or 7 in the morning.
Good guy, it's time to go to school. You're gonna be late.
I can't. Every Thomas episode is out. Plus, we got time anyway.
So because of that, the only real way to watch this era of the show was through fan re-uploads on YouTube. But the damage was done. Many kids weren't aware of the new episodes being aired, and because of this, Mattel lost a lot of money and the brand suffered because of it. Mattel knew about the declining viewership, but instead decided to blame the toys and the narrative for the decline. So they cheapened the toys, making them look like garbage, as well as rebooting the narrative with Big World Big Adventures, the worst era of the original show, which lasted from 2018 to 2020, or as I will call it for the rest of the video, Bwaba. The soft reboot of the show had removal of classic themes, ideas, and even characters. F's in the chat for Edward and Henry. Cheaper CGI, cheaper and crappier toys, faster pacing and using anything that wasn't a train to carry the episodes. Oh, what's that? They didn't improve on the accessibility part? How predictable! And they chose the very end of this era to put the show on Netflix. How pitiful! Remember what I said about the toys? Well, back in the day, the good accessibility of older Thomas meant more sales of high quality toys, with a vast and diverse collection. They were like Pokemon in a way. Gotta catch 'em all! But Mattel cheapened out on the toys by making them more and more ugly and inaccurate to the show. And the amount of characters you could get dwindled, making the collection easy and uninteresting to complete. Plus, a kid's favourite character wouldn't even get a toy in certain brands of Thomas toys. Now let's get to a very fishy subject, the political side of the decline. I know, politics can be so controversial to the point where mere mentioning them can get you cancelled. The Bwaba era had a focus on diversity. I'm not anti-woke, I swear! Fucking pronouns! With diverse characters and parts of the world. Now, don't get me wrong, diversity can be done quite well, but the problem is that the inclusion of Nia and Rebecca for fancy schmancy headlines and political points rather than to add anything actually new to the series, like, I don't know, making the characters interesting or something, or even just likable, but... And by that, I mean likable and interesting enough to become main characters and replace two iconic ones. And many of the themes in Bwaba were not very train focused. Like, they were literally trying to have anything but a train carry a train show. I also find it very ironic that Mattel wanted more female representation in Thomas when Mavis, an iconic female character in the Thomas franchise, was absent throughout a huge majority of Blubber. She only appeared in the movie, I think, and hasn't been seen in the series since 2018. And they could have easily brought back Molly, Elizabeth, or Madge. And if you wanted new female characters, then you should flesh them out and make them likable or interesting or... yeah. But Nia and Rebecca not only came off as soulless political statements, but also spat on the face of Edward and Henry, two iconic characters who are also 2 out of the 3 of the very first characters in the entire franchise. These attempts at diversity are not only stereotyping, but also alienate the very groups they try to include. So much for being inclusive.
Miles, the black one!
All of this culminated in the show's end with season 24 in 2020 and the All Engines Go series from 2021 to 2025. So overall, the Thomas franchise is in a very, very, very bad shape. Not the worst shape ever because of the 80th anniversary and the release of the 1983 pilot and the end of All Engines Go. But the franchise has a long way to go before it gets back to peak. From a beloved childhood classic for all ages to generic kids show number 69420.
Nice.
But that's all I have to say. Like and subscribe and I'll see you all very soon.
It was time for Thomas to leave. He had seen everything.
At this point, the franchise has nowhere to go but up.
Cameron Fitzgerald, this is Travis Sloan. Your brother has some experimental technology that requires a host. A dead host.
Don't worry, sir. I'll find one.